areas. Last week was phenomenal, and I truly believe even this morning in worship, God was dealing with me as it pertains to certain levels of barriers and restrictions that we have as a people. So we'll be taking our time, we'll be working the text, and I'll be trying my best not to get too excited as we go through this, but I love this type of language, I love this type of teaching. It's a part of my mantle, it's a part of who I am, because one of the privileges of having an apostolic anointing is that I am postured for hard seasons, hard cases, and difficult things. I'm not one that usually takes the least path of resistance, even though I enjoy stuff just kind of working and falling into place. I'm kind of used to things somewhat not working, certain resistance that come against forward progress. So I built a certain stamina and tough skin to be able to position myself for hard cases. You need somebody on your team, somebody in your life, somebody in your circle, somebody at the bare minimum in your family that has a language for overcoming hard circumstances. Because if you do not, you will buckle at the knees, forfeit, and give up on certain things that you're entitled to just off of being a believer. Not the things per se that come with your obedience, not the things that you need for favor. I'm talking about just the entitlement of you being a believer. There's certain things that you should have access and in operation in your life. So today we're going to give a language to being able to identify, overcome, and break barriers. Break barriers. And I'm not just talking about growth barriers within the church or within your business. I'm talking about growing in your personal life. Being able to harness a language, an attitude, and a behavior pattern for next level living. And sometimes we get used to the level that we're on, so we decorate, we get comfortable, we hang up pictures, and that's not the place where God has called us to stop. But because resistance sometimes is so present in any attempt for us to move forward, we just give up and make do with what we have. I want you to never settle with what you have, but always thirst and have a hunger and a desire for more, to be better, to acquire more, to have more for your family. There ought to be a desire and a thirst inside of me that says, I'm good, but now I'm not just living for myself, but I'm living for the next generation to come behind me. I'm actually living and fighting and working for people that I might not ever meet. My children's children will benefit from my work ethic today. So we want to have a language and a tenacity and a dedication and a commitment level to breaking barriers. Let the church say, Amen. 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 You found your place in the text. You have it, Micah 2:13. Micah 2:13. I want to bring a perspective to the table this morning where heaven invades the earth. We have our annual Kairos conference. I think it's the highlight of our year outside of anniversary. But I want to talk about the resistance, the barriers that stop heaven from invading the earth. Micah 2:13 says, the one who breaks open, somebody say break open. Break open. The one who breaks open will come up before them. They will break out, pass through the gate, and go out by it. Their king will pass before them with the Lord at their head. I'm going to read that again. And the one who breaks open will come up before them, and they will break out, pass through the gate, and go out by it. Their king will pass before them with the Lord at their head. There's a lot in this text, and we're going to take our time and break it down and give you principles. But the key thing that I really want to get across to you is that there are areas in your life that heaven wants to invade. You have to take into consideration what are some of the barriers or blockage or hindrances that stop heaven from having full reign in our life. I give it to you in the medical terms, and I'm not an RN or a doctor or anything like that. But I can remember my grandmother having a quadruple heart bypass. I got to lean towards my medical people. A quadruple heart bypass where her arteries had gotten blocked. And because of cholesterol and a number of different things, her arteries got blocked, so they had to remove veins like from her leg in different places to replace the arteries and put a stent if I'm not mistaken, in her arteries to open them up so her blood can flow appropriately. And because of this, she had to go through recovery. There was times that she, could only lift up a certain amount of weight. She had to go through physical therapy, different things. So she gained her health 100% and was able to do some of the stuff that she did before. The premise that I want to make is, what are the areas in your life that's blocking the fluidity of what heaven wants to do in your life? What are the signs that heaven is trying to show you that something is amiss inside of you? What are some of the indications? Now, y'all know we're predominantly all black. Some of y'all, light skin, but we black. We're all African Americans. Listen to me. We don't like to go to the doctor. We don't like to deal with some of the things. We are so sometimes reactive and we're so delayed with responding to indications and signs that something is wrong. We'll walk around with tightness in our chest. We'll walk around sweat profusely. We'll walk around with headaches. And we'll deem it, watch this, okay. We'll say that we're fine. And it'll only be until something shuts us completely down and we address and say that we have a problem. It'll only be until we have fainted and fell out on the floor at Walmart that we can attest that we have a problem. There has to be a coming time in your life that you're more sensitive to the indications that God is trying to get your undivided attention. He does it by a number of different things. And he doesn't have to use pain and agony. He'll do it sometimes by voice. He'll do it by sometimes just a word. He'll do it by a picture. He'll do it by a conversation. He'll bring you confirmation in a number of different times that there's a blockage there. There's an issue there. There's a problem there. There's a thing that you need to change there. There's something that's hindering movement there. And if you ignore it, it'll grow into something else. If you don't deal with it when the indications come, you will accept it as being normal. And what you need to understand more than enough is a lot of times we cope with abnormal things and deem it normal instead of dealing with the root of our problem. Now, mind you this, the root of most of our problems is our intake. We usually read the word, seek God, based the way that we eat. Most of you right now, you eat one time a day, 2 times a day. And that's sometimes the same way that we seek after God. And that behavior pattern puts things into compartments. I got to get up, I got to get the kids ready, I got to get to work, I eat when I can, I just drink a cup of coffee, take an energy bar, I do this and I do that. And we put premises on everything else instead of doing what we need to do to grow our inside. We'll beautify our face. What y'all ladies said, we'll beat our face. Is that it? Beat our face. Did I say it right? Yes. Okay. Beat our face. We will beat our face. We will put clothes on. We will do these things. Us guys, we'll buy outfits. We'll do all of these things. We'll work out. But we'll never do the things that will build us up internally so that when opposition comes, we can respond appropriately. There's actually a point in time in your life that when certain opposition comes, you don't need God. You don't need to pray. You don't need to fast. There's certain barriers that will come in your life that you just need to address. Because when you address them, you can deal with them with the God-given gifts, anointing, and power that's already inside of you. I truly believe that if you're more obedient, you won't have to ask God for as much. You're just obedient, do what's required to be done in its appropriate time and give God your undivided attention. You won't need to pray and ask God, what move should I make? How should I handle this situation? How should I respond? But what you have to find out is that God has given you the antidote to all things. He's giving you the answer to all things. But you got to be more sensitive to his promptings and his coercing and him trying to get your undivided attention. Because it'll be in the clamor and the loudness of your friends, of your job, of your association, that a small, still voice will come to you and say, don't you open your mouth. Don't you say anything. You just sit quietly. Don't you respond. And it'll be at that time that you're going to have to ask yourself a question. Am I going to respond to what God is saying or what I want done? And you only can get to know God based off your obedience. Meaning this, you won't know him to be a savior if you don't respond right when you need to be rescued. If you're drowning and the lifeguard is on the side, like, look, stop moving, grab your life preserver, I'm going to pull you in, and you explaining your life story, you talk about what mama did with you, guess what? You're going to drink. If somebody's trying to pull you to a place of rescue, at that point in time, it's not good for pride to rise up or arrogance to rise up, but that's the opportune time I get for you follow old instructions and be obedient to the one who has supervision or a guiding hand to pull you out of what you're in. But most of the time, we would rather drown for the sake of getting our point across, for the sake of getting the last word, for the sake of us being right. We will sacrifice all and say, I'm just going to do it this way and that way, and you rather drown instead of bringing yourself into subjection to somebody that can pull you up and out of what you're in. Premise this, watch this. Michael, let's go to the text. Let's work the text for a second. The Bible says, in verse 13, the one who breaks open will come up before them. They will break out and pass through the gate. This is significant that you understand. That God will always put you at certain access points. That you won't be able to turn the knob. You won't have a key to it. But you're going to have to allow him to proceed before you. There's going to be times that check writing won't be able to do it, grants won't be able to do it, people and accolades and pats on the back won't be able to do it. You're going to have to find a point in the time in your life that you yield to the movement of heaven before you make a move. Because we have learned that when we get it wrong, we repent. But you won't have to repent as much if you allow him to lead, guide, and direct you. How do you allow him to lead, guide, and direct you? You give him the reins to your life. You give him the reins to your plans. You give him the reins to everything that you want done in the earth. And you don't make a move no matter how gifted you are, no matter how anointed you are, no matter how much money you got. You don't make a move until he goes up before you. Because there be certain adversaries and certain objectives and certain warfare that you won't be able to fight on your own. And you're going to need heaven's endorsement in a newfound region, in a newfound plan, in a newfound idea. And without him going before you, you will not make it through to the place where God has called you to be. This is why you have to allow him to go before you and lead, guide, and direct you in all your ways. So it comes a point in the time that you yield yourself and say, you know what, God, in order for this barrier to be broken, I need you to go before me because there's an invisible realm. It's an invisible realm that I'm up against. There's something I don't see. I have only addressed the warfare that comes with what I can see and who I can see. And I'll prove it to you. We've teach you, we've taught you, we've preached to you a theology based off of physical and human problems. If you'll hate of this and you'll hate of that. If this is the problem, go, X that person out of your life. We've taught you to do warfare based off of what you see and what you can touch. And your greatest adversary is what you cannot see. And I talked about it last week. It's not a person that's going to hinder you and come against you when your back is against the wall. It'll be you sitting on the side of that bed considering, are you going to contribute your all today? Are you going to give it your all today? Are you going to make excuses? Are you going to give up? Are you going to stand tall? Are you going to be flat-footed, unmovable? Or are you going to turn back and retreat? It'll be no external force that'll come against you and create that barrier. But it's the barrier of your mind, the barrier of your past, the barrier of your yesterday will frustrate your today and limit your future until you can address what you do not see. What you do not see is what's holding you down. It's what you do not see that's what's limiting your forward progress. It's an invisible world that you actually, to a certain degree, don't believe that it's as effective in your life as it is. When you limit all of your resources to what you can see, it'll be the invisible world that trips you up. You need God to go up before you. God, I'm centering myself this morning so that you can go before me. Lead God and direct me and bring sabotage to every adversary that will go before me. Every single morning, you need to set aside time to give God permission for your day. Every morning you need to set aside time not just to eat, not just to get yourself together, but say, God, grant me peace on today. I don't know about y'all, but there's a weight that comes. Even I own a business. I own a business. So I don't have to go in there and, sit, in a cubicle beside a boss I don't like. I own the business, but I still sit in that parking lot when I pull up, knowing the amount of workload that I have for that day, and consider, like, I could really go back home right now. I could really roll back over, I could just turn this thing right, and I could, with nobody calling me, with nobody firing me. Because the greater level of influence and impact that you have, guess what? The greater realm that you're going to have to deal with in the invisible world. Because we think it's just a boss that our problem. No, it's you. Because what you praying for, you ain't ready for. Because the higher you go in God, the accountability changes. The accountability changes. When I say accountability changes, you get to a place that your boss is God. And you have to lean on speaking to that invisible world consistently. It's easy to go to somebody and say, my son is sick and I gotta leave. It's okay to send an email to a boss and say, like, you know what, I can't make this appointment, or I gotta leave work a little bit early, or can I get a week off, or can I take my vacation? But when you are subjected to a God who sits high and looks low, who's geophysic and everywhere at once, you have to deal with your emotions, your motives, and your intentions on the small things. Because you can get away with stuff internally when you smile and nod your head that you don't really feel like externally. You can, let me put it this way, you can fake it. You can fake it very good. You can sit there and say, yeah, I understand, yeah, I'm with you, I support you, that's A-okay. And in your heart, you like, look, I really don't like you. I'm really just trying to get through this conversation. And we have masquerade, and we have put on a mask and did all of these things to limit our authenticity. But when your superior is God, you can't just nod and grin and say okay and have animosity in your heart, because he'll say, what's that? You can't fall to your knees and pray and think that you can get a prayer of provision through, because he's going to say, what's that? I don't know about you, but when I pray, God asks me, what's that? And I don't look around on the floor. I don't look around on the phone. I look at my heart. And I have to deal with those things in my heart. I wish there was a way that he couldn't see it, but because I'm a son and he's my heavenly father, he asked me, what's that? I know he's dealing with my heart of an issue. And I understand with him dealing with my heart and dealing with the internal things of my life that he set me up for greater. I might not see it just yet. My money might not reflect it. But God will send somebody to be a blessing right on time as long as I can get my heart right through the process. Here's the issue that we have. We master, we're professional thinkers. We're great at it. And we've learned to lie to ourselves. That's why Bible scripture even says, I'll turn you over to a reprobate mind. Why would you do that, God? Because of the barriers of your life. Because you've made your perspective of a thing law. And even my grace can't overturn it. Even my favor can't overturn it. The cliches and the dancing, no, that won't overturn it. That's why you got so much scandal in the body of Christ now. That's why you got so much callousness in the body of Christ right now. So many issues going in the body of Christ right now because we haven't learned how to present something to you that we don't live. I said we've learned to present something to you that we don't stand for. So now you become my God. You become my stand. You become the reason why I do what I do. So I can stand before you and look a certain type of way on Facebook and Instagram and Snapchat and everywhere in between, but I don't have to live it because as long as you clap and as long as you keep coming back, I'll keep presenting you something that's actually not authentic as it should be. But sooner or later, watch this, sooner or later that thing will begin to rise up inside of you. And as much as you've done a great job with hiding it, you put makeup on it, you covered it up, you put a nice suit on it, sooner or later that thing is going to rise up and you're going to have to give disclaimers, you're going to have to give excuses, and you're going to have to read and say, oh, I'm just this, or I'm just that, or don't judge me. That has a telltale sign that you've given permission for something to say that's created a barrier in your life where you have to say, don't judge me. The arsenal of weaponry that the body of Christ right now has is don't judge me. Don't judge me. And I'll tell you where I think it started. I would say it's like in the Bible where it says all spoken on permission. Y'all might not like it, but you might like this person. I'll say it anyway. I think it started with this whole Tyler Perry movie. I like to just, be analytical just about everything. Tyler Perry has a storyline. Some guy working as a waiter, some professional girl. They fall in love, opposite attract type of thing. But if you look closely at most of the storyline and the verbiage in there, is coming from the premise of don't judge. Throughout all of his plays, throughout all of his movies, you'll hear is just something that's parallel throughout all of it. That when somebody was wrong, when they fell in sin, when there was an issue, or when they had some type of evident problem in their life, it was always don't judge them. But you only understand, Scripture says you're supposed to judge the whole earth. So when you allow a devil, let me backtrack. Some of y'all I'm not calling to our therapy. I'm really not. But when you allow the devil to disarm you of your weaponry, when you just as dusty, it didn't require a whole lot of maintenance. You just took it, wiped it off, and it was good for decoration. It was good for look. It was good for ambiance, but it had no substance. I said it had no substance. I said it had no substance. And we've fallen victim to a sight and see generation where we just like fake fruit. And we ain't looking for seed, we ain't looking for reproduction, we ain't looking to eat, we ain't looking to do none of that stuff. We're fine with looking at stuff but not having substance. And because we haven't had substance, we can't put up no fight with a devil that knows more word than us. How can we honestly say we can engage in spiritual warfare when the devil prays longer than you? He's more focused than you. If this is the critical thing. If the enemy's camp, the kingdom of darkness, has no problem falling into hierarchy. They don't have a problem submitting. They don't have a problem being obedient. They don't have a problem following the lead of a more stronger devil. What makes you think with your little prayer cloth and your water from the Jordan and all this other crazy stuff, you can just jump up and just, because you got a little gift, you can present yourself without process, without submission? You just throw yourself out there. You're the first one shot. The first one down. And as soon as you hit the ground, you blaming everybody else because of the barrier that you let stay in your life. First barrier you got to deal with, I got 3 today. I'll be a good preacher. The barrier of fear. The barrier of fear. God has not given you the spirit of fear. The truth of the matter is this, most of you are scared. I can tell you how scary you are. That you won't commit yourself to stuff because you're afraid of being hurt, as if pain is a problem. I don't want to do it because I don't want to be hurt again. You went to McDonald's. You ordered a 5-piece. You only got 4 nuggets. You didn't complain. And then you went back to another McDonald's. They ate it again. You went to Wendy's, Burger King, everywhere else. They just put cheese on your sandwich. You didn't give them Burger King. You're more loyal to your restaurants than you are to God. I mean, more loyal. More loyal. More loyal. And you don't give up on those establishments. You will stay committed and loyal to them. I love that French fries. That French fries is the best. I go here get a milkshake. I go here get the fries. And I just go here get out. You go through all those changes and give all of that sacrifice for food. But as soon as you go through like church hurt, just give up on God. I don't really think that's it. I think there's a pressure. I think there's a level of accountability and measurement that the true local church gives you that you won't get from these fake food churches. I'm talking about a level of accountability that says, okay, you're here, you're called to be here, how you gonna get there? Well, mama ain't never get there. I ain't never seen nobody else get there. That's fine. That was okay for mama in the language of your past, but I have a dialect and a language for your future. So I can't keep taking these excuses of why you can't do. Either you're gonna be fruitful or you're gonna stay stuck. You should never be offended with anybody that holds you accountable for you getting to your future. gotta deal with the barrier of fear. Fear will make you non-responsive. Fear will make you avoid. It'll make you unaccountable. You got to be able to deal with fear and deal with it at its core. You cannot keep giving excuses of why you are not fruitful. You've got to be able to deal with and address the fears of your failures. Most of you right now, under the sound of my voice, have a fear of failure, so you don't try. I'm just going to do my own thing. And as soon as you hit that recycling, revolving barrier, you just don't give it any effort. And because you don't give it any effort, you know what you do? You stay stuck. You stay in the place that you are. You have to deal with what God has given you as a resource to grow and become who He's called you to be. If the Bible declares, I have not given you the spirit of fear, your prayer life should be, well, give me what's needed for me to be an overcomer. And that might be a sledgehammer. That might be a mirror. I know y'all want angels and y'all want fire from heaven, but He might give you a mirror and say, deal with you. Deal with yourself. It's really not an external problem. Get the mote out of your own eye. Deal with your past. Deal with your agony. Deal with the things that you're given permission to say. Because some of the stuff that you're dealing right now is not even devils. It's not even adversaries from the demonic realm. You're dealing with giving people permission to stay in your present day that are not assigned to your future. You're giving people permission to stay in your present day that can't even equip you for your future. And you're rejecting the people that have capacity to slingshot you to where God's called you to be. And you're allowing these people that don't know you but from your past and yesterday and what happened 10 years ago. Man, you remember this? Man, we used to do this. And that's good for family reunions. That's good for the cookout. But that cannot be the language of your daily life. All we do is reminisce. All we do is remember when. You don't have a language for nothing we building in the future. You don't have a language for nothing. See, this stimulates fear inside of you. Your language will announce to the world where you're standing. And when you stand in faith, you'll always be in the future. You'll always be building something. You'll be 3 years ahead of your today. You'll be 5 years ahead of your today. But when you're chained to your past, it'll always be based off of, girl, this is what you used to do. And girl, this is what we used to do. And people that can only give you facts from your past can equip you for your future. Deal with your fear of being alone. Deal with your fear of alienation. Deal with your fear of failure. Watch this. Deal with your fear of success. Barrier right here. This is why we take so many selfies. This is why we present ourselves on social media a certain type of way. We flirt with success because we haven't had it. We tamper with success because we haven't experienced. So we have to present it to the world as if we are all right. But we don't post what we're going through. We don't update our status when warfare hits. I'm going to just take a break from social media for a while. Telltale sign, you don't have a language for barrier breaks. The whole month of September, I'm going to talk about every barrier that was broken with us being who God has called us to be as a church. Let me share some with you. Let me share some with you how pathetic that is. You wouldn't be sitting in this chair right now if I hadn't broken. Listen to me when I tell you this. As minuscule and minor as I sound, I could have easily, watch this, I could have easily resorted back to what I was good at. I was good at being an entrepreneur. I was good at starting businesses. And what happens is we will resort and go back to what we're good at when we hit certain barriers because we're afraid this thing might not ever happen. There were times I used to have to pray and ask God, why is it I'm so successful over here? It seems like doors are open over here, but there's so many challenges over here, and it's your stuff. I mean, it's your house. I mean, it's your church. I mean, I'm just an under shepherd. I don't even, really take too much, glory from all of this. I'm doing this for you, but I can step over here in this car industry and flip things around 10 times over. But the thing that I'm assigned to do over here, it seems like the doors ain't open. It seems like I'm getting challenged. That's why so many churches close. That's why so many pastors walk away from the pulpit. Or if they stay, they fall into scandal. And then all you're going to do is read a blog about them. All you're going to do is go to, what is that, all them little crazy little church blogs and see how the pastor has slept with his secretary and did all this other stuff. That's good, juicy content for you. But you don't understand the pressure that was on that man of God, or even that woman of God, that produced a mindset that says, you know what, I'm going to take a beeline for what God called me to do and subject myself to a flesh that has caused me to fail. No excuses for him. No grace for them. God deals with them however he deals with them. But you need to understand the process to a breakdown. Because just because your breakdown was masqueraded in your bedroom, but you kept telling everybody you was good, does not mean that you still didn't break down. You've got to get to a place in your walk with God that you deal with the fears of success. The fears of it actually happening. And what people around you going to say and what they going to think. If the business jump off, if the money comes, if you put up in that nice car, if your language change, if your clothes change, if how you respond change, if the money level and the income level and the prosperity of your life change. How many of your friends now will still be your friends? Let's just have a tough conversation. Some of y'all are in associations right now that if God bless you, most of them will leave. If God blesses you first, before he blesses them, you will be alone again. That's just the truth of the matter. So how many people in your circle right now will celebrate the blessings of God in your life? And will feel connected enough to say, you know what, if God bless them, I'm next in line. How many people God needs, watch this, I'm going to just prophesy this. Some of y'all, I pray that God blesses you so he can expose the real enemy around you. I pray for the next 7 days. I pray for the next 7 days, God separates you with a distinct blessing so that the enemy around you can be, so the Judas around you can be exposed. So that you'll see for yourself who's really for you and who's against you. Because you need to be hungry for a future that you know you can't cut a check for so that it can happen, the wheats and the tares can separate from your life. I pray that over your life, and I pray that God does it in such a way, not for you just to be like, oh, that's them. No, for you to have compassion and help them through their fears. Some of you have a fear of success to the point that you stop trying. You stop writing the book. And you know some of the stuff that you've been through will be a #1 bestseller. Some of that stuff that God has brought you through is so that you can put it in a book and pen a page and write a chapter and put it in somebody's hand and be deliverance for somebody else and a testimony for somebody else that it'll outlive you. You're not just on this earth so that you can live and die and people have memories, but you need to put some of that stuff in a book so that somebody can read it 100 years from now and see how to break barriers even then based off of your struggles that you overcame today. Somebody say the fear of failure. Somebody say the fear of success. And the next one that you need to really address, that was really just one, I got two more. The next one that you need to address is the fear of certain associations. Look who Jesus associated himself with. Some of you feel inferior about certain levels of associations, and I'll tell you why. Because birds of a feather do what? Flock together. So I was invited to a meeting this coming week where I was at work Friday, asked a couple of questions to a gentleman at the auction. This man said, you need to connect with this person and this person, because once you do, they'll take you to the next level. They want to talk, we were talking about a whole different business venture. So I called them up immediately. Made an appointment. I've got a meeting coming up with that person. And listen, if the level of my influence is based off of the income level that I'm at right now, I might be the big fish in the little pond. I might be the best in my circle. But you want to be the lowest person on your totem pole. You want to always counsel up. You want to always reach up. You always want to position yourself to become better. How do you do that? Through your association. And listen to me when I tell you this. I was speaking of something totally contrary. I was at the auction buying cars, and I was talking about real estate. And this person said, you need to meet this person so that when you meet this person, this will happen for you. And if you do it, it's going to happen for you. And listen to me. That fear rose up in me. I'm not going to lie. Fear rose up in me. Because I've created the dealership that I work in. I can dress down if I want to. The language of my dealership is based around what I put out there. So all of it's based around me. So I've maxed out all of that at my dealership because I created it. And sometimes we fall victim to that association because guess what? We're the top of it. We're the boss of it. It's all based around us. But there'll be certain checks that be cut. There'll be certain networking opportunities. There'll be certain doors that are only open once you go from the association that you're on to a whole other association. Do you know how I present myself now? Going to work on Mondays and Tuesdays, even on my own job, and I create the culture, suit, tie, dress pants. I want people to take me seriously when they see me. I want people to be able to say, well, this is the person that I can invest in. This is the person that I can work in. That I can dress down if I want to. I can go in there and tennis shoes if I want to. But the next level that's calling on my life and what God has called me to do on high associations, guess what? I need to present myself as a person of interest with a couple of checks with commas and zeros bigger than the checks I can cut myself. So you know what that means? I need now to change. Somebody say change. Associations don't cause you to change. Because you're going to look at where you're going, and you're going to look at where you've been, and you're going to have to sit there and make a decision. Am I willing to sacrifice? Am I willing to change to go where God has called me to be? That's why people pick churches. I sometimes try to figure out why there's a church on every corner and why there's a church in every neighborhood. Because people flock to associations that's conducive to where they are and where they've been. They don't like to be challenged to change. No matter if it's truth spoken, no matter if the word is of God, no matter if they prophesy and they're accurate, it makes no difference. If they have not matured to a place to harness and embrace change, they won't move. There has to be a language of your life that you're willing to embrace the change for you to become better. Look at the last 3 years of your life. Look at the last relationship that you were in, and you had to change. When you found out that joker liked short hair, you cut your hair. When you found out she liked a certain thing, you changed and modified for that. Why is it so hard for us to change for destiny? Why is it so hard for us to change for our future? Why is it so hard for us to modify the ideas and perspectives and personalities of our life to go into associations that make us better? A lot of times we freeze our success. I'm talking about grandmother today. My grandmother used to take food and she would put it in the freezer and she would write on it. And these were collard greens and these was zucchini and this was cucumbers and all of that stuff. And she would put it in the freezer in the summertime and put it out in Christmas. And it would be all frozen, but she'd defrost it and use it. And then once it's used, you know, it'll have a little frozen taste sometimes, but we'll still eat it. You know what I mean? Because it was like, I had to eat it. But here's the critical thing, and the principle that I learned from it, that a lot of times we freeze our success. We freeze our success. We freeze our triumphs. We freeze certain things from our past so that when God's trying to raise us up and take it to a bigger association, the only thing we can bring up is what happened in 86 and what happened in 96. And when you're around people that got the same accolades as you, got the same success level as you ought not feel insecure, but you ought to feel hungry. If the only time that you can contribute is when you're the top dog, or when you're the top on the totem pole, or when you're the boss, or when you're the best, that's usually rooted in your insecurity. It's rooted in your fears. It's rooted in you not wanting to change or modify yourself for a different type of association. Why? Because of pride. But when God begins to position you to a greater level of association, you will realize that guess what? That little jumping shout you got, everybody got it. That little song that you sing, everybody can sing it. It's one thing when you're the only one that can do it, but when everybody can do it, guess what? Are you as confident as you were before? If you're in an association where you're the only one that can crochet and everybody else sews, guess what? You feel great. But does your insecurity rise up when everybody's able to do it and maybe do it better than you? Do you contribute the same focus and attention? Could it be that God's trying to get your undivided attention and change your association and change you into a platform and take you into a place that you've never been before? Could it be that God's trying to stretch you in certain places and because of the mundane behavior patterns of your life, you don't want to change? Could it be that God's trying to strip you from your past and from your failures down to the bone marrow to cause you to walk in a greater level of anointing? I would say yes. And I would believe that God's going to do about association because anytime he wants to bless you, he'll bring somebody into your life. Somebody to challenge you. Somebody to buffet you. Somebody's not going to speak your language, but a language that's higher than yours. Somebody's going to sit you down, look you square in your face and say you were wrong and you need to modify and you need to change. He's going to bring somebody in your life as a drill sergeant that you ain't going to always agree, but as long as you submit, you'll become better. You'll grow stronger. You'll be more disciplined. You'll have more stamina. And they ain't going to dot every I and cross every T. They're not there to be your buddy or your friend, but they're there in your life to make you better. So you're going to have to buckle your seatbelt sometimes and just enjoy the ride of destiny so that you can become better. Now last one. We talk about the fear of success, the fear of failure, the fear of association. Watch this. The fear of disappointment. Some of the favorite examples that I see, that I hear, in all of the counseling sessions and meetings that I have, most of the time, people have a fear of being let down or letting somebody down. It creates a barrier in your life that you don't contribute or energy or effort to kind of put behind a vision what's needed for it to happen. So because you've been let down, which I don't want you to raise your hand, but every last one of us at some time or another have been disappointed or have been let down. Because you've been let down and you've been disappointed, you've built this alter ego around you that says, guess what? I'm not going to contribute, I'm not going to support because I don't want to be disappointed. Or you yourself have big vision, big plans, big things that you want to do in the earth, but you don't really want to get too many people involved into the preparation of it or the process of it because you yourself have let down people before. So what happens is this: we don't give it a try. We don't give it energy and effort. We don't contribute enough to the vision that's around us, or even the vision that's inside of us because of the fear of disappointment. I'm going to be the first to tell you, if you trust in me, I'm going to let you down. I'm going to disappoint you. I might not text you back. I might not call you back. I might not answer that voicemail. I might not follow up as quick as I can. If I can get my disappointments out of the way early, you can get me at face value. I'm not going to overpromise and underdeliver. I'm going to tell you straight up that it's not going to be always this. It's not going to be always, we're not looking at perfection. It's not going to be always ironed out. But what this is going to be is me. You're going to get 100% me. And there's a difference between me selling you somebody I want you to know than selling you myself. If I can tell you my flaws first and get it out of the way, you're going to get 100% me. And once you get a person for who they are, you need to harness it because there's not a lot of people in the earth today that are authentic about who they are. You get somebody that's able to articulate to you, this is me, this is my fault, I'm crazy on Tuesdays, I dropped the ball on Wednesdays, you won't talk to me on Thursday, but this is who I am. If you can get somebody that loves you for you and not what you presented yourself to be, you've got somebody real. You got somebody authentic. And here's the crazy thing. Real love says, I love you, I appreciate you, I value you, not because of what you can do for me or what I can get from you. But I love you for you, your fallacies, your mistakes, your letdowns. I love you for who you are, what made you to be who you are, your hills and your valleys, your mountains and your low points. I love you for you. Even if you stop contributing, I love you for you. Even if I can't get a loan from you, I love you for you. Even though, guess what, I can't get money from you or any of those things, I still love you for you. I love who God called you to be. I love the bruises of your past. I love the bruises of your letdowns. I love your fears. I love your insecurities. I love your mistakes. I love everything about you. See, that's the type of love that we see in John 3:16. That for God so loved the world that he began to give and contribute and process. When you truly love, you give your all to a thing. You give your all to a person. And that's the problem in this day and time. We have not met the God that loves us unconditionally, wrapped in flesh. We've met people that prostitute our gifts. We met people that strip us down. We met people that withdraw but never deposit. But I prophesy into your life right now that you will no longer be fearful to contribute your best to an association that's higher than you. I speak over your life a realm of tenacity and a new association, a new excitement about what you bring to the table. I speak over your identity change, that you won't limit yourself by who people thought that you were and the mistake that you made 3 years ago. So what, you had the baby out of wedlock? So what, you got fired from the job? So what, they came and picked up the car? You needed to go through that storm in your life so that God can reintroduce you to being your provider, being your sustainer. I pray over your life right now in the name of Jesus that every failure of your past becomes a testimony for your future, and God raises you up and gives you your strength back, and give you your identity back, give you your purpose back, give you your destiny back. I thank God for your failures. I thank God for your letdowns. I thank God for when you did it wrong. I thank God for when you gave up and turned it over, because you wouldn't be here today. God wouldn't have brought you into this room if you had not gave it up and turned it over to Him. He's your source. He's your provider. And every barrier of fear, and every barrier of doubt, and every barrier of insecure, I break it right now in the name of Jesus. Not being concerned with what people got to say about you, not being concerned what people think about you, not being concerned with outward appearances, the internal destiny. I prophesy right now in the name of Jesus that God raises you up from the inside out, and no weapon formed against you today, no weapon formed against your future, no weapon formed against your tomorrow shall be able to prosper. And that thing that He begun in you, He shall perform until the day of Christ. There's no failure in you, there's no mistake in you, there's no letdown in you, but greater is He that is within you than he was in the world. I speak over your life right now. Blessing after blessing, open door after open door, and every barrier that you're facing, and every wall that you're facing, it comes down now in the name of Jesus. Your health be made new. Your mind be made new. You get redemption in everything that you lost, that God will add back into your life. The years that the cankerworm and the palmerworm have eaten away, that He shall restore to you a form of glory. I prophesy over your life right now that your legs will give you strength to stand, that your arms will be extended in worship, that your mind will be focused upon Him. I pray right now greater strength and greater anointing, that every devil of discouragement and every devil of fear and every devil of doubt be bound in the name of Jesus, that you walk closer to your destiny, that you walk closer to your calling, that you be who God called you to be. I push past your fear, I push past your doubt, I push past your insecurity, and I call forth the warrior right now. I call forth the warrior right now. I call forth the soldier right now. Be born in the name of Jesus. Woman of God, come forth. Man of God, come forth. Preacher, come forth. Intercessor, come forth. Prophet, come forth. Evangelist, come forth. Bring forth it with power. Bring forth it with clarity. No more confusion. No more delusion. I break barriers right now in the name of Jesus. action and forward thinking and forward movement right now in the name of Jesus. Every place that you're stuck, every place that you're restricted, every place that you're confined, let it be broken right now in the name of Jesus. And I decree and I declare better days are coming in your life. I decree and declare that protection is in your home. Favor is in your home. Prosperity is in your home. I decree and declare right now that healing is touching your mind. It's touching your body. No infirmity, no sickness shall be able to hinder you any longer. I wish I had somebody that would help me pray today. Everybody standing, hands lifted. Hands lifted. Father, I decree and I declare right now that the enemy, your people's destiny, be broken up right now in the name of Jesus. You uproot every lethargic spirit, every slothful spirit, every demonic mindset, and bring us into a new place. Bring us into a large place. That even our thoughts will no longer be barriers. That even our mind will no longer be barriers. But Father, grant us right now divine access. Give us the keys to the kingdom of heaven. That whatever we bind on earth shall be bound in heaven. And whatever we loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven. And every barrier that's facing us right now, we ask that you will go up before us. Send down to this house a barrier breaking anointing. Let us break down the barriers of religion and tradition in this city, Lord God. Let us break down barriers, Lord God, of falsehood and lies and deception, Lord God. I pray right now in the name of Jesus that you will give us strength and give us a battering ram anointing, that we will jump over walls, that we will break down walls, that we will go through doors. Give us access points right now and let your people come into one accord with what you called us to do, Lord God. Let no weapon formed against us be able to prosper. Let there be no successful enemy against our future, against our vision, and against our mission. With our hands lifted, Lord God, we relinquish our doubt, we relinquish our insecurity, we relinquish our fear, we relinquish, Lord God, the consideration that it's not going to happen, and we believe right now, Lord God, with a strong hand, you're going to pull us up and out what we're in. With a strong hand, you're going to establish your covenant in the earth. Father, I pray right now in the name of Jesus, Lord God, that you will give us an earnest desire to seek your face even yet more, Lord God. That we will turn our plate down, Lord God. That we will eat your word, Lord God. That we will pray, Lord God. I bind the hand of the enemy right now in the name of Jesus. And we pray earnestly and fervently, Lord God, that the fire of heaven will open up on our behalf. Dispatch right now your angels, Lord God. Loose right now your anointing, Lord God. That we will be liberated in our mind, liberated in our heart. I pray right now in the name of Jesus that you will restore your altar, Lord God. That your people will come asking, what can I do to be saved? That they will lay their cares upon this altar. And with our hands lifted, we ask right now that you will forgive us of our sins. Forgive us of our trespasses. We ask, Lord God, that you will forgive those that have sinned against us. And cause us to seek your face. 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 And we'll be careful to glorify you and honor you in all that we do and all that we are. In Jesus' name that I pray. I say amen. And we say amen. Put your hands together and give God a hand clap of praise. This altar is open. I want you to come right now. I want you to come right now. Come on, this altar is open. I want you